Hello. So today I'm here to show you guys something I've been working on. It's like a drone survival game, kind of like Arc Raiders, and the idea is also to extract from the drone warfare, whatnot, and that's the victory condition. So very reminiscent to Arc Raiders, but you'll see the gameplay is completely different, as well as the art style and how it presents itself. But before we get into that, I'll quickly introduce like the game itself. It's built using BEVY. It's a Rust game engine. Um, and the thing that really drew me into BEVY was wanting to learn an entity component system. I know Unity is like having this experimental Unity ECS that I was interested in, but I never got into. But yeah. So I was really interested in the idea of like having an learning how to use an entity component system, and quite honestly, I've fallen in love with it. And this is also my way of learning Rust because I thought Rust was a very interesting language because I wanted to get into embedded. Anyways, so just like a really, really, really quick snapshot of how ECS is working here. So we are separating the data from the logic from the entity. So an entity is just like a primary key in a database. It's just an ID. A component is like this right here. So it can be a marker. So this structure component is literally just a marker that goes on an entity. So we're like, so we can query for that. So give me all entities that have the component of structure, and but also components can consist of data as well. Do I have one here? I don't think I do. I've got one here. So this health bar component consists of it has a state of width and an offset. So that's an example of a component with data. And then we have systems. So to attach health bars is this is one of our systems we have here. So this comment tells you what it does. It finds everyone. So we're querying for entities with a health bar and health, but not health bar spawned. So this is an example of using a marker component to attach that to an entity. So when we're querying, we know, all right, if it has this marker, don't attach a health bar because it's already got one. So that's an example of like how you use the markers and why they're important. And we also so the way I structured this out, like the drones have a config, and then the items that you can place, like walls and whatnot, they also have a config. So whenever we're spawning, we're able to loop through this config and see what all. Sorry, burping. We're able to see what all attributes this person, this uh, placeable object or drone should have. So, for example, for my placeable objects, they can have a kind, which is just an enum right now. But I have an extraction beacon, a turret, and a wall. It's going to be expanded, but right now there's only 3 placeable objects. So first, you have to know the type of placeable object. It can have a name. This is just a static reference to a string slice. A glyph, that's how it renders in game. It says glyph, that's a little misleading. It can be multiple characters, obviously, by the data type. It can have a color, a font size, that it's an ASCII art game, so that determines how large it renders. A health, so it can optionally have a health. There's options like this could be a value, an unsigned 32-bit integer, or it could be none. If it's none, then it can't die essentially. And also, not everything with a health needs to have a health bar. So we also have a boolean to determine whether or not that health bar should spawn or not. An optional hitbox radius and a list of behaviors, which I won't get into, but essentially think of it as optionally addable behaviors. So, for example, you'll see one of my drones, the chasers, have the behaviors of chasing after a target, but they also have the behavior of exploding on contact. So when they come in contact with something with a hitbox, it explodes. So that's an example of attaching behaviors, and they just work. That's probably the most beautiful thing about entity component systems and composition over inheritance in general. That it's just really blown me away of how beautiful it is to write code that just it's like chef's kiss. Anyways, all right, let's get into the game. Enough yapping. If you guys are interested, I can go do a more deep dive on the philosophy of how I've laid out this project, with my limited understanding, and kind of more of like the deeper architecture. So let's just run the game. Should already be built, yeah. So this loading, you're probably like, oh, why does it take so long to load? It's actually just a manual timer because I didn't want the game to load so fast that they weren't able to read the tip bars. So if it wasn't for the timer, it'd load immediately. Anyways, so let's talk about some of the features. So the game loads right now. You just spawn in and you start spawning waves of drones. It's hard coded. It's a MVP, but so we've got our pause menu. We can resume. We can quit, which literally closes the game. Let's reload it. I just wanted to show you that it actually worked. Everything you see here should actually work. If there's any bugs, we'll find out. And there's settings. We have audio settings, and this actually works as well. So the way audio works is I have sound bites that either I recorded some of them, but others are like stuff I got from YouTube and stuff, all copyright free, stuff like that. And they have a sound. So sound effects have a volume. It's at default 100. Music has a volume. And you can change that. And then there's a multiplier over that, which is the master volume. So if master is 0, it's like 0 times 100 is 0. Obviously, I'm sure everyone knows, but that's the mathematics behind it. So I'll turn down these sound effects a little bit because the sound effects get a little annoying. But anyways, so let's go back here. And then if I hold right click, I'm shooting. You can see it's shooting wherever my mouse is. And if one of these drones come in contact with me, heard the sound effect, and you see my drone or my player health bar went down. So let's shoot this guy a little bit. And I won't kill this guy. You'll see these drops here. So when drones die, they have a chance. I have actually a drop table defined. I won't show you, but I have a drop table defined. So drones have loot that they can drop, and they have a variable range that's random that they can drop. So it could be like, this one dropped 2 scrap metal. And this blinking that you see there, I just died. But that blinking that you just saw there is the resources are on a timer. So after a while, it blinks to let you know it's about to despawn. And then it actually despawns. A bug that I just noticed was you saw it started blinking while I was in the pause menu. I need to set it to where that system only runs if the state is playing and not pause. Anyways, let's continue. So this is the basic combat mechanic of the game. There is a building mechanic that I was working on. So you can see in this little HUD down here, there's 2 things. It's not very clear as to what they are to the user right now, but this first one's the extraction beacon. You can see it has a health bar. That's going to be the main mechanism in which you beat the game. And then I have walls. So this is a wall, and you can see that drone collided with it, and it took some of the wall's health. So I place these walls down, and I'm able to, kind of hide behind them, so I'm not taking so much damage from these drones. And then this P that you see here is for pistol. That's like the starter weapon that you get. I'm trying to. There we go. That orange resource that it just dropped is a drone weapon part. I need to pick it up so I can show you the next main mechanic of the game, which is crafting. So you can actually craft stuff. So you can see you can craft an extraction beacon if you have 5 circuitry and 3 drone weapon parts. So we're going to craft a shotgun. And you'll notice in this little bar thing down here, there's an S. So if we press 2, the number 2, the hotkey 2, we now have a shotgun. Let's pick these up before they despawn. And now with the shotgun, our fire rate's a little bit lower, but we're able to shoot 3 projectiles at once. I think that was a bug. I don't know how they just died. Maybe I have no clue how they just died, but yeah, that's the gist of the game. It's pretty cool. It took me quite a while to build this stuff, and a lot of this stuff I actually had to refactor several times over because I was learning how entity component systems should work, and it's really hard to get out of the object-oriented mindset. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I thought it was cool, and I thought what I was doing was cool, and yeah.